I'm Sarah, one of Melissa's sisters, and the matron of honor. I want to thank you all for coming and celebrating Melissa and Q. I told myself I wasn't going to cry, but we all know I'm going to cry. Um, Melissa and I have had our ups and downs our whole life. The older we get, the closer we are. Let me tell you, Melissa's always been protective of us. Since day one. She always hates it when she doesn't know what to say or if she can't do anything about it. So, 2 years ago, in July 12th, I'd called Melissa from the hospital. She did not believe me that I was in labor with our daughter Isabella. I probably spent 10 minutes on the phone trying to convince her. So, when it's your time, and you call me to tell me that you're in labor, I'll believe you. Q, welcome to the family. We can officially call you Uncle Q now, even though we have been since basically day one. I hope your love grows with each other the rest of your lives. So let's raise a glass to the new Mr. and Mrs. Cottle into the next chapter in their lives. Love you both, and here's to the rest of your lives.
Tonight's speech about 4 hours ago, I started to Google heartfelt best man speeches. Yes, approximately 4 hours ago. So I found a website and it had thousands of best man speeches. And when I clicked on it, it was like, please pay $200 to $500. And the cheap guy that I am, I was like, nope, I'm just going to wing it. So that's what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to wing this best man speech. So let's take a second to go ahead and give another round of applause to Sarah's maiden honor speech. So if you enjoyed how thoughtful and sweet her speech was, you'll probably be disappointed with mine. So on behalf of the newlyweds, I would like to thank everyone for attending their amazing celebration today. And you all truly look amazing tonight, even though it's very dim out there, so I can't see how your faces and reactions are. So it's okay. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Zachary, also known as Z. I'm Q's little brother and only little brother. So I'm the best man for this evening. And now, the more I think about that title, best man, it makes me more and more uncomfortable. Because it simply implies that Q has lots and lots of men friends in his life. And he's dubbed me to be the most important, which is just crazy. So here I am giving this speech. I've known Q, well, I guess, my entire life since he was born 18 months before me. And on his first birthday, he asked for a baby puppy. Yes, at 1 year old, he was speaking, and he wanted a baby puppy. But instead, my parents decided to give him a baby little brother, me, which is going to be the biggest pain in his butt for the rest of his life. So here I am. So if you want to hear all the embarrassing stories about Q, just sit back and relax. And I'll try to keep this speech under an hour, I promise. It'll be okay. So on our journey together, so you may be wondering if our parents were crazy by giving us single, wow, I can't even talk tonight. Sorry, a little intoxicated. Single letter names, Q and Z. But I can promise you that they may be crazy at times, but our nicknames came from a former wrestling coach that simply could not remember Quintin and Zachary. I can understand Quintin, right? But like Zachary, come on. So he one day called us Q and Z, and there it forever stuck, and we have been known as Q and Z ever since. For as long as I can remember, I've tried to follow in my brother's footsteps, trying to become half the man he is today. When Q was a freshman, he walked into the weight room and set the bench record for the school, and hasn't went back into the weight room since. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, doesn't ever work out. Walks into the gym, sets the bench record, walks out to never go back in. It's simply not fair. My brother was a beast on the wrestling mat and has become an amazing coach today. Most of you may know that he's been God-given talent in athletics, which has pushed me to be the best I could have ever been. If it weren't for him, I would not have had some of my successes today, looking up to my brother every step of the way. He has always been an awesome big brother, stubborn and a little quirky, but awesome nonetheless. One thing I will say is how Melissa balances out how awesome his quirkiness is. She's beautiful, as we can truly see today. But getting to know her over the little time we have been able to spend together, I have found her to be just as awesome and maybe even better than board games than Q will ever be. I have watched as Q has become more in love and changed for the better since they have started dating. I had a feeling she might be the one. Between holiday get-togethers and escaping the wine cellar and not getting poisoned at the escape room. And if anyone doesn't know, they've never not escaped from an escape room. She has softened him in a good way, and at least from what I can see. And now that I look at them, they're happily wide-eyed newlyweds that we are going to toast tonight. Q, I leave you with this little bit of advice that I've learned over the years. A real man never stops trying to show a woman how much she means to him, even after he's got her. I wish you the years and years of happiness and love. Never stop going the extra mile for one another. When you feel yourself getting a bit too uncomfortable and complacent, remember the quote. Spice things up, do small things for one another, and always remind the other of how much you love them. May you always find the little things like PlayStation and wrestling. Oh wait, that was mine and Q's thing. Find the joy in each other and have a lifetime of happiness together. Let's toast to the newlyweds, Q and Melissa. Cheers to you both.
I had a choice not to do this, and I decided I would go ahead and punish myself. So first, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It truly means a lot to all of us that you came. And if you do not already know, I'm Q's father. I want to thank all of you coming today to help celebrating with us the marriage of Quintin and Melissa. We gained a daughter today, which makes Nova and I very proud, to say the least. Thank you, Kevin and Jane, for sharing your daughter with us. Mary Lynn, I know you are very proud. And I also know how proud Graybeard would be today. And over the years, to see the man that Quintin has become. Thank you for sharing Nova and Quintin with me so many years ago. I'm not sure where 32 years went, but they seem to have vanished into thin air. My journey started with Quintin on April 4th, 1990. Yeah, why do we put ourselves through this? He was 10 months old. That is when I met his mother, my wife, in King City, Missouri, while home on military leave. I was 27 years old, young and immature, all about myself, golfing, playing pool, shooting, doing whatever I wanted to do, and I was about to embark on the greatest adventure of my life. I always knew I wanted to be a father, and God knew what he was doing by putting Nova and Quintin in my life long before I did. Quintin taught me how to love unconditionally, although growing pains for both of us coming into each other's world was totally real. I was by no definition a perfect father. Note to self, don't look at your son. and I, for one, had a lot of growing up to do. I think over time I eventually figured out how to be a good father to all of my kids. Thank you, Q, for coming into my life when you did. Now, Mackenzie told me the next part is too long. I asked her, how do you sum up 32 years in one page? Now, it's 2 pages because I made the font bigger so I could read it. I can talk about family time, his first dog Cracker, fishing, hunting, baling, and throwing thousands of bales of hay in the heat of the summer. Boy Scouts, military deployments where he stepped up to fill my shoes when I was gone, or a million other things that define Q. So I have picked something. I said keep it on one page, although that means the margins are pretty small and the font size for sure now requires glasses. As a side note, this relates to Zachary as well. Q and Z are very close, and Z was lucky enough to get to tag along in this great wrestling adventure. Although not the pure talent like Q, he worked hard every day trying always to be like his big brother. If some of you do not know, Quintin is an exceptional talent on the wrestling mat. Our wrestling journey started in 1995. Needless to say, I was one of those dads yelling at Q as he was wrestling and slowly crawling my way to the middle of the mat. I mean, literally to the middle of the mat. I was right beside the referee. That behavior soon stopped after my beautiful wife and family played back videos of me coaching Q. I was like, I cannot be that psycho dad. So instead, as most fathers do, you want your children to be better at everything than you were yourself. So I sought out the best wrestling programs as Q grew older. By the time Q was 8 or 9, it was clear to see that he was a natural on the mat and that he was better and stronger than kids more older than him. More for me than Q himself, we began traveling all over the U.S., going to big wrestling tournaments and zoos for my girls because we drug them everywhere. Many of which he got whooped on bad, and plenty where he dominated his opponents. Although I pushed Q sometimes to the point where he no longer wanted to wrestle, I'm thankful that he stuck it out and never quit. Wrestling teaches life lessons on a personal level that I feel many other sports do not. When you're out there in the middle of the mat, there is no one other than yourself to blame for your victories or defeat. It is all about the work you put in prior to the match, your intestinal fortitude, the ability to push yourself to limits that most of us in our lifetimes never reach. By the time Q was in high school, he was among the best wrestlers in the nation. Not only did he become a 3-time state champion for the Omaha Skyhawks, he went on to wrestle for the United States Military Academy. Wrestling in the academy became an extension of your family, and lifetime friendships are made. Thank you, Tom, Tyler, Dan, and Ryan, for being such great friends to Q over the years. Your friendship means the world to Q, and I hope that it remains strong long after your hair turns gray. I also want to thank 3 men that remain a constant and great mentors in Q's life: Sean, John, and Doug. You have helped Q in so many ways over the years. It means a great deal to Nova and I. More importantly, I know how much you mean to Q, and both Nova and I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for always being there. It is true when they say being a part of the Westside Wrestling Club family never ends. Melissa, I know that Quintin loves you with all his heart and soul. I am thankful that you both have each other to continue living out all of life's adventures for decades to come. Gaining a daughter is always a proud moment for any parent. Just know that Nova and I will always be here at the drop of a dime for anything that you may ever need. Welcome to our family. We look forward to seeing you grow together as a couple. And lastly, Q, thank you for letting me be your father, and thank you for calling me dad. I love you. A toast to Melissa and Q.
Oh, great. I think it's my turn. Yeah, but I gotta go with the end here. Jeez. Yes, it is. So, thank you, everyone. Friends, family, extended family. It means a lot to us for you guys to be here.
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
Don't drink and drive.
Let's have a round of applause for Mr. and Mrs. Cottle, everybody. A round of applause for them.